talking.
Oh, okay.
It's not. It doesn't have to be professional. We can just sit here and shoot the shit.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm Drew Hanson.
I'm Shank Dorsey.
This is the main event of Endgame, November 22nd, 2002. There's Marcus. Look at that little smile on Marcus. That's a face. That's a face that could look so ruthless, but yet so just cutesy. I bet he was a cute baby.
Oh, yeah. He always loves being in the spotlight.
This is John Orlando making the announcements. You know what pisses me off about John Orlando?
What's that?
He calls me Mr. when he introduces me.
He's just trying to show you the announcer's respect.
Well, he doesn't call you Mr. Shank Dorsey.
That's because I'd kick his ass.
Well, I should come out here and kick his ass, too. I'm the bad guy in this particular night. Well, actually, we're both bad guys. Just kind of set up this. I was competing for ownership of Fire and Ice Wrestling with this match. It was a best-of-7 series. Was the hired assassin of the President Stone. So we're not going to reveal the little plot at the end of the match, but the stage was set. Shank was brought in specifically to take me out so that I did not own FIW. There's a very scared man.
Yeah.
You saw me backstage before the match. I was petrified. Matt Mason saw me before you did, and he goes, "Well, let's work through what you know so far." And he goes, "Look at your hand," and my hands are just like,
oh yeah, it's always like that. I still get nervous. I've been doing this 5 years.
Yes, but you haven't seen you get ring with you.
I've heard stories.
That's reason to be nervous. Actually, Mason's for 6 months. His first match was He trained for 6 months for his first match against you, and said it was the worst/greatest moment of his life. You said on your site, how many hours of training do you think? Maybe
for you, I think about 10.
10 hours of training.
Yeah.
Getting in the ring with Shank Dorsey, and this is going to be the best/worst moment. I'm thinking just, here comes the pain.
Oh, yeah.
There's my
trader for nothing, though.
There's my pop sitting there with his arms crossed.
Yeah, there he is.
Saying, I can't believe I'm at this wrestling shit.
Yeah, I remember when I walked out, I started looking around trying to think. I couldn't pick nobody out.
New Shank Dorsey. Actually, it's a little bit more Dale Johnson-ish, bitch-like.
Yeah, we changed it up for this one because this one was something totally different.
There's Mr. and Mrs. Dorsey.
Oh, yeah, look at the guns. Somebody said they need to work out, pump them guns up. I don't see what they're talking about.
You do those curls, those 12-ounce curls.
Oh, yeah.
That's really Dorsey's #1 fan right there.
Yeah.
Sitting there cheering him on. Now, I've watched this a couple of times. This actually is the first time you've seen this.
Yeah.
Who are you jawing at here?
I think it's DDK and Tommy Chill, Cyrus Poe.
Ah, yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, just running my mouth, letting them know I seen them out there.
I'm sure we'll get to those guys throughout the course of the match.
You're good buddies.
Yeah, my pals, my compadres. Actually, we all, at the time that we record this, we are all about to work together in PWC. FIW has since folded.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Wrestling Coalition. Shank joined December 13th. My first show is the 31st of January of 2003.
Right, there's CK.
Hey, you come out with a chair, I'm coming out with CK3.
That's right. Oh, you did a great job, I thought.
CK, definitely. Well, between CK and Marcus and you, I actually was able to salvage this thing, because without the help of you three, if there was just a normal referee in there, I don't think I would have been able to come through with this thing.
Yeah, well, like I said, with 10 hours training, you wouldn't expect to go out there and be Eddie Guerrero or something.
No, definitely not. Obviously, Shank with the early advantage.
Oh, yeah, getting it pumped up. See, look at the cardiovascular there. There's about 3 or 4 of them.
I was surprised you didn't bust out some jumping jacks. Now, here's a little a la Kurt Angle. Look at that takedown. And then that little moment there where things got just a little kinky. I think I felt what you became famous for in prison there for a few.
Feel the little knot, did you, in your back?
It's a classic. I'm the heel. I'm mad. The crowd laughing at me. All right. Third time's a charm here. Let's try and make something happen. I almost slipped.
Yeah, that was nice.
Hey, 10 hours of training. Yeah. I'm just going to keep referring to that. 10 hours of training.
No, you're supposed to say that's what it was supposed to look like. You're supposed to duck down like that and go behind.
Oh. That's what it was supposed to look like.
Yeah.
Supposed to duck down like that and go behind. All right, now, obviously, a la Mick Foley style, the weapon you bring is the weapon that's used against you.
That one did sting a little bit. I'll give that one to you.
It's probably about the only thing I did that stung.
I was sore the next morning.
All right, now this is the thing. Everybody asks me about the match. They ask why the music.
The reason we did the music is because from where we said earlier, you had 10 hours of training. I figured the music would help cover up us talking you through the match and helping out. Like I said before, we use CK a lot, like we used him right there to help you get the advantage. We used Marcus a ton. He passed messages back and forth between us to keep things going smooth as we could, and the music was there to cover that all up.
But of course, with me being a DJ for 12, 13 years, music has pretty much caused me to go deaf. Yeah. So the music worked against me a lot of times, and I had to say, "What'd you say? What'd you say?"
Yeah. I got a little angry yelling at you a couple times, I remember.
Oh, since this is the first time you've seen this match, I could probably point out every time you got angry with me.
Yeah.
And the first of some booty kicks.
Interestingly enough, Mac Daddy Mike from CentralOhioWrestling.net, he emailed me and we was talking online, and he asked me why the music, and I explained it to him, and he said that's something I didn't understand right there. I mean, my belly's like twice as big as the trash can.
Well, I wasn't using too much logic a lot of times during this, because your philosophy is so much different than mine, because you said, let's just get in there and wing it. Let's just do whatever. And I'm not that kind of person. I mean, the first time I ever did a radio show, I wrote out every single thing I was going to say, down to the breaks, the periods, the commas, and I'm just not very good at ad-libbing, and I'm apparently not very good at punching either at that point.
They look better than some I've seen.
I thought you were saying, it hurts, but really you were saying harder.
Yeah, I was saying harder. Telling you to get them in there.
Well, that's my excuse. I thought you were saying it hurts, so I laid off a little bit. Actually, at this point, I'm already blown up. I'm tired.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't take much. People think it's really easy. There's been joggers and people that do like aerobics come in for training, and they just leave dying.
I was just gonna say I run two miles 3 times a week, and I was blown up. It was stupid of me to at the start of the match to go running around grabbing those props and throwing them in like I was.
Oh yeah, you don't see me running around, do you? You see the slow pace.
And head meat trash can, that hurt.
Yeah.
That was an ouchie.
Oh yeah.
I think it was so much of an ouchie that it caused a little bit of blood to happen.
Yeah. I said it was going to be easy.
CK sitting there patting me on the back, slapping me. I'm going, stop slapping me, dude. I'm bleeding.
Yeah, it hurts.
I'm going to bleed more the more you slap me. Trust me. That was Shank preparing for his onslaught in there. I don't know, what were you planning to do with the ladder up like that?
To be honest, I was basically just getting it out of the way. Because I was afraid I'd trip over it. And I was setting it up, secondly, to stall and give you time. If I'm doing stuff in the ring when you're down there trying to... Yeah, so basically I was just trying to make a little noise so people would pay attention to me and not watch you and see what you was doing.
And we won't really get into what I was doing. I wasn't down there lollygagging or tomfoolery or making jokes either with CK. Now this is what's funny. Marcus, after you hit me here, Marcus is like, oh, geez. And I was pretty much thinking the same thing. If you've ever been hit by Shank Dorsey, you'll know that it's not the most fun feeling in the entire world.
Yeah, I was trained to be a little snug, as they call it, or stiff, whichever you want to use. That's how I was trained. For me, it's just easier to sell it. There's
my Triple H impression. I knew at some point in the match I had to do the Triple H.
Got to.
That's gonna get me a mark status until the end of time, but hey, if you ask a lot of those guys in the crowd, I already have it, so.
Right. Well, every wrestler that steps in the ring is some kind of a mark in some way or form.
And there's more of those great punches.
Just like me, I always try to tend to take after Mankind or Mick Foley. Got the missing teeth thing going, overweight, a little hardcore here and there.
Yeah, a little here and there.
Yeah. And something that my wife notices is if you can always tell when I'm like legitimately hurt or in pain because I'll start grunting and making Mick Foley noises. And that's how she always knows that I'm hurt or I'm not hurt.
Are we still talking about it in the wrestling ring?
Yeah. Oh. Well, anyway.
Just making sure.
Oh, if I start making those noises in other places, something's wrong.
Right. Woo. Keep the DVD clean here.
Yeah. So you do nice rope run.
And now at this point, want to touch on, you look visibly pissed at me, and I could understand why, because we planned out this whole nice little sequence there with CK jumping up on the top rope and saving me when I got thrown in, and then you going in, and at some point between getting drilled in the head with the trash can and blood and booty punches, I completely forgot about that.
Nah, there wasn't really no anger. I only got angry at you like twice, and the one time is where I like put my fist wrist deep into your stomach.
No, yeah.
When you was hitting me and I was telling you harder. And another time wasn't really at you, but it was. But like I said, it wasn't nothing major. I was never really like mad throughout the match. It was just being in my character. And, you know, I'm naturally a stiff worker.
You could have fooled me. There was the what was supposed to be the spinning leg drop.
Right, yeah.
Which is a trademark move of Shank Dorsey, but CK grabbing the leg kind of put a... Now here we go again. We're trying this one more time.
Yeah, that was... Yeah.
And that time I got it right.
Yeah. That was the first time I got angry at you.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I could tell the look on your face.
Yeah.
Elbow drop out of nowhere. Don't know what made me think of doing that. No idea what made me think of doing this.
Yeah, I'll let you in a little secret. Those shots right there was hurting like a mother effer.
Really?
Yeah, they was banging my knee. My knee had bruises on them. My leg had bruises on them for about 2 weeks.
Actually, I saw Terry at the PWC show. Terry is Shank's wife, and she told me she had seen that mark on your leg, and I was actually almost complimented that I had given you
yeah.
some sort of mark, because you had given me many. I had your handprint on my breast for several days afterwards.
Some breastises.
And it was not from any act of erotic nature, contrary to Shank's reputation.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I felt them, but I mean, that's the name of the game. You know, it comes with it. If you can't take it, you shouldn't be in there. And once again, if you can feel it, it's a lot easier to sell than when you can't feel it.
Yep. Now, did I... Oh, yeah, I already did the one move. It was a la Austin on Brian Pillman. It was one of my favorite things I ever saw. It looks like a pillow fight right there. It's one of my favorite things I ever saw in the Fed, when Austin, for a while, would wrap up somebody's leg in a chair and jump off the ropes on top of them.
Right.
That, of course, got some attention from some of the local wrestlers in the crowd. They thought that looked a little stupid. But then again, they thought the fact that I wrestled in a wife beater with spandex on looked a little stupid, too. So.
What'd they expect?
Yeah, the latter comes into play. I was going to go shirtless, but at the last minute, I just didn't have the guts.
Yeah.
I worked out pretty hard for the match, but I just still thought beer had gotten the best of me in the lower abdominal region in the end, and opted for the wife beater.
You're definitely in a lot better shape than I am. I ain't seen me walk around there in no wife beater.
Shank, though, you wear it well.
Yeah.
And you put all that weight behind those punches, trust me. A bit more comfortable punching, but I still don't think they look very good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, an actual wrestling move for myself. I remembered to protect the neck. That was about the only thing I remembered.
Yeah.
Because I'll notice when you return the favor a little bit later, I totally screw it up, and you are holding all the weight that is me in the slam.
Yeah, there's one later on that I'll comment on.
And I bet I've seen it, and I bet I know which one it is, too. You get me with it, and you fly halfway across the ring in the process.
Right.
Because the momentum of taking me over almost does the same to you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at this point, just to set up what CK was doing outside the ring, he got the table set up, and you were pretty tired at this point, too, and you kind of said to me, give me a few.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I say I get blown up real easy on there until I get my second win. Once the second win comes, I can usually go.
We kept a pretty good pace with the match. I thought at some point we would use a rest hold or a submission hold, and we just kind of never got to that.
Yeah. I don't like to use them too much unless I absolutely need to. If I start getting lightheaded, then
absolutely,
yeah, that right there.
No push off on the leg whatsoever.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that so much, but I mean, just to shoot just between me and you, and who cares what everybody hears. Is when we had practiced the choke slam earlier, my main thing was holding on to the shoulder. That's why I went flying forward like that, because you grabbed me by the shoulder, and when you was going down, I went with you. So I just,
that was something I didn't. I just figured I had not pushed off right on your leg. And
no, you was fine on that. It was just you didn't let go, and I'd let go of you, so I didn't drive my face into the mat.
Well, I was coming down on a ladder, so right. I was kind of thinking about that too. Exactly. That I really didn't want to meet that ladder, and that had my back hurting for a couple of weeks. Actually,
right? Yeah, like I said, I mean, it wasn't nothing major. I didn't say or do anything. Or
There was a good punch. That one.
Yeah.
That one I actually felt more than wee that little ride.
Yeah.
Now you'll hear a couple of guys in the front row try and get a holy shit going.
Right. Yeah.
Which I was honored that it was even worthy of a couple of guys in the front row trying it, but
Right. I think the one that happened earlier in the day was better. They were both good, but I think the one you had a lot more elevation on it, the WNCI spot.
yeah, that we actually did that same. That was the second table I went through on that day at that point, because earlier in the morning we appeared on WNCI. Jimmy Jam and Dave Kalin let us promote the match on WNCI just to kind of get some S&Gs. Plus, they got a little Michigan-Ohio State heat with that game being the next day.
Right.
National champion Buckeyes.
Yes.
We'll both mark out for that. Now here, that's partially selling, partially my back is in major fucking pain.
Oh, yeah. I remember my first couple matches. I didn't want to go back. Well, I did.
Amazingly enough, after this, I really wanted to go back. Well, maybe not right after this. The strap.
Yeah. Now, a little side note, that belt is my second oldest daughter's. She gave it to me right before I left, and she was like, "Here, Daddy, use this." I was like, "Okay." So that's why I had to throw that in there. And plus, she was sitting in the front row, and she was obviously terrified because she'd never seen me bleed like that before.
That shot right there. That's the money shot of Shank Dorsey. If there's a PWC promo where we can erase that little FIW at the bottom, that shot of Shank Dorsey is the meanest and most vicious shot I think there is of you existing on tape. Everybody that sees that goes, ooh.
Yeah.
I've shown this match to a lot of people, and they love that. That's the money shot of your career right there.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to put that on the old front page of the website or something.
Absolutely. I think I put it on my site for a little bit. There's the handprint. And at this point, I have no idea what I'm thinking in my head, but I actually say to you, let's do it again.
Yeah. I was only going to do one, and you said so. Okay.
I think I just wanted to rest at that point, because I'm thanking God I'm just laying there in the ropes, and those ropes in more ways than one are really holding me up.
Oh, there's the super great punches with me. See, I even throw bad ones on occasion.
Well, you were going for the left hand there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do it. Put a little lick on those things. Oh, even harder than the first one.
Yeah.
As if to say, I'll show you.
Oh, yeah. I got those from, actually, it was me and Coyote. Well, back when we first started training, we started together, and that was what we would do. We would see who could chop each other the hardest, and who would be the first to give up.
And most people just, play Mercy or Bloody Knuckles or something.
Right. Yeah, ours was overhand chops.
That's a little something I stole from the Hardy Boys, which actually ended up having the same result as it had in the Hardy Boys match. I broke the ladder.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Did you ever see that DVD, the Hardy Boys DVD?
I think you showed me at your house.
Yeah, Edge and that's right. Getting ready for the match, we met up a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, only trained one time in a ring getting ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
Very primitive, very Rocky IV-ish. Like I went to Russia and all that stuff.
And there's Mason. I think he come out because we were going too long.
He probably did. Well, Mason also is kind of intricately involved at this point. Coming up even more involved, but with the outcome of how FIW ended up. This actually ended up being the final match in the history of FIW.
Mm-hmm.
With two guys that pretty much had been there since the beginning.
Wow, what's that saying? It's your first match and FIW's last.
Well, hopefully I never step in the ring in PWC, or it'll all be all over there.
Yeah.
Actually, hopefully I do step in the ring, but just with a little bit more training.
To me, I know a lot of people tried to pick on you and all this and that because everybody thinks they're superstars. But for the training you had, I thought you did an excellent job.
Well, I'm glad you said that, still watching the match.
Yeah.
You've said that to me the past few weeks when I've kind of talked to you about watching it, but watching the thing, I'm glad you still say it.
Oh, believe me, I've seen a lot of first matches, and yours is way better than a lot I've seen.
Now, at this point, we're just kind of stalling so that you could fix the ladder. And
right.
Actually, weren't you a little bit concerned about how much blood you'd lost?
At first, because back when I worked in IWA Mid-South, I had a match with Ian Rotten, and it started going like that, and eventually it started slowing down. So Marcus kept saying, it's still pumping out, and which it was. So the only thing I told him is, you should always have a second plan in case. So I just told him, wait 5 minutes, and if it's still pumping out and I'm losing a lot of blood, then I'll fake like a loss of blood faint deal, like the Austin WrestleMania 13 type of thing.
Yeah.
And then you could just win that way. But after like 2 minutes after that, it started slowing down. So I knew after that I was going to be all right.
And at that point, you could see I'm pretty well dried up. The most of my blood was in the wife beater. Swing and a miss with the trash can.
I didn't even remember that part.
Well, that's because I think you had fallen to the outside at that point.
Right.
I'm just kind of throwing. Marcus says to me, "Get him with a ball shot," and I'm going, "Who you rooting for here, Marcus?"
Yeah, to touch on that ladder thing, the funny story was when I was talking to my wife on the way home. She's like my biggest critic and the biggest help to me because she'll tell me the truth, honestly. And I was talking about the ladder to where it broke, and Matt Mason's girlfriend at the time was like tripping out on it and saying, "Oh my God, the ladder's broke, and Terry just looked at her real calm and she said, "Oh, don't worry, Shank will fix it." And it was just, she didn't even know what was going on, and oddly I'd gotten up and started fixing it, so I thought it was kind of funny.
Now, this is something that you'll see, well, not you, but you've seen it many times, I'm sure, earlier in the DVD. This is your trademark move, and I'm just kind of trying to use it on you, and I don't do it nearly as well.
Hey, we got one of the two. We went 50-50 on that
and
one.
Here's the funny thing. Mason does that funny little chop right there in the center. Well, I could chop it and make it break and make it look good. I got out too far with that. The positioning, I looked around I would love to say arena, but I'll have to settle with bingo hall.
All right.
I looked around the bingo hall prior to the match and thought, where the hell are we going to set this up? And that was really the only spot that I saw that we could do it.
Right.
And I got a D in geometry in high school, so distance and things like that are not really my forte. And I thought that, the number one thing I was thinking was hit him in the center, and get up and don't get out. I got out too far.
Yeah, well, in that building, though, I mean, for that particular spot, you need a little bit of room to work, and there just wasn't enough room, basically.
Here come 400 thumbtacks, courtesy of Lowe's.
Yeah, thank you, Lowe's.
Thank you, Lowe's. Now, the Fed probably uses maybe 10,000.
Right. Yeah, I picked the bag. I was like, probably like a quarter, if that.
It cost me $12 for 400.
Right.
And it was the last 4 packs they had.
It was enough. They stuck in there.
Yeah, I actually got a few of them in me as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you was cutting your promo at the end of this match, and I was sitting on the tables outside, there was a fan behind me, and I guess there was one sticking out of my arm, and she was like, "Can I please take that out of your arm?" That's making me sick. I was like, "Yeah, if you want to touch it, go ahead."
Everybody that has watched this so far, you'll be happy to hear, has thought this was the most grotesque part of the match.
Yeah.
Even though it took CK3 way too long to get in there to make the save.
Yeah, really. I was like, "Come on, man, anytime."
Ouch.
Yeah, you can feel him a little
Use
bit.
a human pin cushion. It's the old JR. And at this point now, I don't remember what you said. Do you remember I said, "You're close to the ropes"? And you said, "There are no ropes." Something like that. I didn't know if that was a testament to, "I never grab the ropes," or...
I'm not sure what I said there.
I said, "You're close to the ropes," just in case you wanted to just reach up and grab the rope or whatever.
No, actually, I think I was saying something about taking it home or getting ready to go. There's strike 2.
No, yeah, swing and a miss, strike 2. Lights out, didn't quite catch it right there. Then you said it, and I caught it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it takes me a couple of times. I'm going to blend music on that one. I really didn't hear you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I heard you. I just fucked up. And I, at that point, have a couple of thumbtacks in me as well, and really didn't even realize it because I was so pumped up at this point.
Right.
There's the big turn. Matt Mason, once again, the babyface fan favorite that he is. All the women love him. They cheer him even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah. If he only knew, huh?
Super kick to the head. Supposedly the end of me.
Yeah.
Mark Stone comes out, and it was
some kind of Chris Benoit, "you're finished" deal or something.
Apparently. And they were in it all along, but guess who was in it with me all along?
There's old Junk in the front.
Should be all but academic now, except bad camera angle. Shank pulls me on top. I had earned his respect. or I had paid him off better than Mark Stone did. Stone, now say what you want about the guy. He has moments of wonderful acting ability, and I think this was one of his finest moments right here.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. We've had our differences and we've had our pluses, but I like the guy.
I have my differences at times with him as well, but personally, as a friend, not wrestling-wise, he has been very, very good to me. So get him in the business, and things are just a little bit different.
A little bit different.
All right, now the celebration, the crowd. You could tell the crowd was pretty baffled. They didn't know what was going on.
Right. They was either baffled or like, that was stupid. One of the two I'll take.
I make a little joke at Stone. I'll sell it back to you on eBay. Because I knew that was kind of a shoot on him, because I knew what a fan of eBay he was. He's constantly talking about buying rings on eBay and buying...
Actually, he sold our ring on eBay.
That's what I heard. He held the original FIW ring.
Yeah, it was actually a really, really good ring, like one of the best in Ohio, and we pretty much begged him not to sell it, and he did, because he was going to buy a new one.
Now I'm trying to get the mic from John Orlando, so we're just kind of stalling here.
Right.
And Orlando's trying to get his own little heat there. Orlando, one of the co-writers at this point with FIW, along with Matt Rocks and myself and Stone.
Breathing a little heavy.
Just a little. I saw a kid in the front row, and I said, I censored myself. Mother, and as soon as I saw that kid, I went, bleeper. I think it was actually your kid.
Yeah, it probably was.
And they've probably heard a lot worse at home, haven't they?
Maybe.
Maybe.
In the heat of the moment, I might have let one or two go.
There's Stone kind of firing back at me. I fired him, then told him to clean up the ring. He goes, if I'm fired, how am I going to clean it up?
Man, it's a good point.
It is a good point. I've never been one to make good points in chronological order. As the victory party leaves.
The victory train.
Pretty good shot here. You destroying things. Stone looks on. Drama. And I guess
which actually would have led up to a nice feud had it not ended the way it did. The promotion, I mean. It's
Columbus, Ohio wrestling. Never say never. You never know who will pop up where. Hell, if Eric Bischoff can pop up on Raw.
Yeah, anything's possible.
You could see Mark Stone any place. You just never know. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the FIW Endgame final match in FIW history. Thank you, Shank.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for making me look incredible in this match. I've thanked you umpteen million times.
Yeah,
if I were to do this with anybody else, I probably would have looked horrible. More so than I did.
Not a problem.
Sweet. Sweet.